Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Evo SR TV. It's Wednesday. It's IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Series. We've got the TCRs and the GT4s. It's me, James Salt. Alongside me is Tom McMahon in the commentary box. Tom, happy Wednesday. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Mr. Salt. Very
Good
well. Hope everyone's
stuff.
staying healthy, staying safe. Looking forward to a good race.
Indeed, and if you hear any coughing on my voice, then yeah, don't be alarmed. It's because I had garlic bread earlier on tonight and a bit got wedged. It's Wednesday night again. We're here, round 2, Sebring, a track that I think a few of us are quite familiar with, given the 12-hour and IMSA was it was the track, wasn't it, for IMSA leading up to the 12-hour? So Sebring's not quite out of the horizon yet. It's still very much in our face. Who are we watching? We've got Damien Owen Harris in a brilliant looking car, Evo SR livery.
A lot better than the last Evo SR livery that we tried to show in this series, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point. We saw Rob Baker, didn't we, try to put the R8 livery on an RS3 body, basically. That didn't work out.
Indeed. But coming back to the action, we've got two really good strength of fields. We've got a 3.9k strength of field for the GT4s and a 3.5k for the TCR. So two high-level races going on. I've done a couple of races this week already, and it is fantastic. We don't get any multi-class action, but the racing on a bigger track, unlike Laguna last week, is superb.
And we've got a few regulars. Certainly from the Porsches, we've got Petitjean, who won the race. Is this who we're on board with? Here we are, indeed.
Yes, yes, we
Thomas Petitjean, who, despite having some contact, or I can't remember if he had contact or spun on the last lap in the last race at Laguna, but he still managed to win because he had such a lengthy gap, didn't he? About 20 seconds, I think he got to, if not more. But he took that win, so we're on board with Petitjean at the moment. Who else have we got? From I guess the Porsche being the newer car, it's difficult to know the sort of regulars at this point. I know Petitjean obviously because he took the win, but I can't actually remember anyone else from the other GT4s.
I have raced Andre Castro, and I seem to remember Sander van der Vel. But other than that, yeah.
Daniel Muth, I think there's
name rings a bell, but that's
the
the good thing of a developing series. We'll get to know the drivers, and hopefully we'll bring the audience along with you.
Whereas the TCRs, we know quite a few of those folks. We've got Damien, obviously, in the Evo SR livery.
He's stuck it on pole, provisional pole at the moment.
Go on, Damien. Put it on pole for Evo SR. Not biased in any way, don't worry. We've got Fraser Smith, Brittech Sim Sport. Who else have we got? We've got Connor Paris. Oh, it looks like Connor's disconnected a bit. Kevin Weinreich, Chassanet Vincent, another regular that we recognise. Mateus as well, who's car 28. Jordan Deschamps, I believe we've seen him as well. Let's have a look at lap time. So, like you said, we've got Damien, the current top car in the TCR. Samuel Libert, French guy, is on P1 at the moment with a 2:10.5. Tom, you said you've done a couple of these races. What's a pole time look like? Because if you actually look at that top 20, that's,
pole time, I would expect a low 2:10 is very competitive. If you get into the 9s, I'd expect you to be pretty much at the front. And TCRs are about 3 seconds off the pace when all is said and done and tyres are up to temp, etc. We've got quite a lot of purple lap times going on from Samuel, so I'm going to stick on board with him to see what his lap time is as he comes across the line.
Already on pole, isn't he? But looking to improve his time. Just under a minute left now. We've just gone into that last minute. Good thing about these longer tracks is there isn't that much time in between, is there? So we get underway quite quickly. Although, I was going to say, although the formation lap, which goes on for an eternity around here.
Here comes Samuel. A little improvement.
Yeah.
10.3. So,
where is Petitjean?
There he is.
There he is. He puts it on pole.
by 4,000. So that's given me a little pat on the back because they're in and around my lap time. So I don't feel too bad when I've been racing. And I believe there are some other cars out on track. Just bringing across the line. Alexander Lange, we're going to go with. Puts into P6. Very nice. Looking at the TCRs. So we've got Scotty McQueen has put it on P1. Jordan Deschamps, P2. Just running through, finding our man. Damien's put it P6. So very respectable. And we're already, that's the end of quali.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, like you said, Damien in P6. Fraser Smith lines up alongside in 7th. And there is the grid. Thomas Pessignon, Samuel Libert in 2nd. Gonzaga is a name that I recognise. Rafael Silva in 4th. Gonzaga had an eventful race last time round, if I remember, going into the corkscrew with Fraser Smith and etc. etc. Almedia in 5th, Lange in 6th, Andre Castro 7th, Graham Wagner in 8th, Thomas Oliwayek in 9th, and Elliot Huffman in 10th. Daniel Muth takes 11th, and I couldn't grab P12 there, but never mind. Let's go. Yeah, let's go straight. Yeah, Scotty What time is it in Australia? Scotty McQueen takes P1.
Early morning Thursday race for him.
I was going to say Jordan Deschamps in 2nd, Michael Scottelia, we'll call it that, in 3rd, Jackson Harlow in 4th, Reinhard Heibel, a name we recognise, Damien Harris for Evo SR in 6th, Fraser Smith 7th, Dennis Wyke in 8th, Matthias Oki in 9th, and Anton Dupin in 10th position. That's a top 10 for both cars, or both series, I should say. The guys are lining up, and we've seen this before, but we're about to witness one of the longest formation laps on iRacing. Good job we don't see it around the Nürburgring, the Nordschleife. I think this probably is one of the longest, isn't it?
What's up there with Road America?
Road America, yeah, because obviously I'm trying to think of lap times that are close to like the 2 minute. You've got Bathurst, which doesn't. We've got Spa, which doesn't.
Road America is the other 2 minute sort of 1:58 type time. So, but I think because of this, Road America has those big straights, whereas this is a little bit more slow and pedestrian.
Yeah. So
and the formation lap is away.
It is away. Last week we saw Petitjean have so much more speed than the others, to be honest, managing to get a huge gap early on and maintain that until the final moments, where he still took the win. Do we think Samuel Libert in 2nd will have pace to to challenge him? Hopefully we do, because I mean Samuel's got 7,500 I rating, so he's not slow.
I would think so. Also, the draft is a little bit more of a factor here. As I said, from experience, it does play a little bit of a part in it. The tyres also, whereas Laguna felt you just didn't, you were just a bit slower, but the grip levels didn't seem much worse. Here, don't be surprised if you see a few short spins or hairy moments, especially from the Porsches, because it does seem a lot more on edge, which is great. It's a really fun car to drive. If you don't
on edge compared to the last week's at Laguna, you think?
Yeah. Coming out of not the hairpin. I can't remember what it's called, but the right-hander after the hairpin. That is very sketchy on power early in the race, so that's really, really cool. And there's good opportunities for overtaking, good close battling. So hopefully everyone gets through that one cleanly, and then we can settle into 2 fantastic races as we watch the TCR cars make their way.
Yeah, I mean, we saw last week. You mentioned obviously the Porsches and the colder track temps and them spinning, and that actually broke up the TCRs, didn't it, in terms of their race. So hopefully we do see the Porsche cars get away cleanly and not have too many spins, or if they do, they stay clear of the TCR, so it allows them to race closely. And it's much better this series now that we've got nearly 40 cars, 39 cars in it in this one.
Yes.
Is it 39? Yeah, rather than what did we get last time? We used to see grids of about 14, unfortunately, when it was just the TCRs.
Yeah.
But this Porsche adding it to the Audi seems to have reinvigorated. I don't think it was ever low numbers as such, but it's certainly good to see. And it's a great car as well. We've mentioned that a few times. The Porsche that's been added to this. The Audi's a good car to drive. It's a really good car to race. So it's a really good series. This one, I think it's up there with some of the best. And what do we have tonight? We had just less than 200 people registered, so it's certainly strong in terms of applicants. Is that what you call it? Entries. There we go.
Yeah, entries. There. Yeah. Applicants.
So down the back straight, Thomas Petitjean leads the cars. Not much daylight left. We saw obviously more in qualifying, didn't we? And it's going to get dark quickly around here, and we will be full-blown pitch black at the end of this, which is often quite difficult to spot the cars. But bottom left of your screen. Oh, what's happened? There we go. Bottom left of your screen. We're on board with Thomas Petitjean, awaiting for him to put the foot down and lead the cars out of the final turn. He's bunching them up. And he's gone. So here we go, week 2. IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge is underway as Petitjean leads them over the start-finish straight. Where we are on board with Rafael Silva in P3 at the moment. And got to be careful around turn 1. Cold tyres. We're side by side there for P4. Someone's going a little bit wide onto the grass. Recovered nicely. Petitjean leads them through. No pressure from behind at the moment. Cleanly does it so far, certainly for the top 5-6 cars. The Audis are now heading into turn 1. Audi's probably easier to control overall, especially on the harder tyres, given its front-wheel drive. But these are side by side going into turn 2. Both. Oh, that's contact.
Elbows out.
That's TCRs for you. Luckily, they can withstand that sort of argy-bargy. Look, how's Damien getting on? Damien has dropped all the way to the back, apparently. Is that right or wrong?
Yes, I believe that is right.
Damien's had a moment there. So he's down at the back, isn't he? According to the timing. There's a big crash going on, actually. There's another. And we've got some comms going on, which I need to remove, as usual. So these are there with the Porsche that we're on board with. Petitjean away. Cleanly driven from him. Samuel Lambert in second, with Rafael Silva in third. Gonzaga having a good race as well. He's in fourth. Castro in 5th position. This battle for what is this, like 6th, 7th, 8th, something like that? What are we?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
Oh, so there's been contact.
There has been contact, and that's going to be. I was going to say they are going to be a roadblock for the cars, but they're out of the way now, and that's allowed a lot of the others through. And we've seen 4 or 5 cars off the track there.
Yeah, we've already seen. I mean, we've got Valentinas is up 10 spots already, so he's picked his way through the carnage. It started off so well, and now it's all gone a little bit skew-with.
Loving life.
Jumping back to the TCRs. Oh, look at this.
This is
3 wide going into sunset. They're all piling in. They're going to be about 5 wide coming out of it. Jackson Harlow still leads the way. Look at this.
And there's so many different lines that you can take through there that are all equally quick. We've got Porsches in the mix there as well. About quite a few meters back there. We just see that yellow Porsche. 3 wide into turn 1. And that's contact. There we go. Yeah. It is good that you can do that with the TCR with that front wheel drive helping you out there.
Oh, there's going to be contact at the front.
Scotty McQueen with his Australian internet connection miles away from everyone else. I wonder if netcode's having an effect on that. So Deschamps P3, and he's actually he's down at 1 place, isn't he? So he's lost out to
yes.
Michael in front of him. Hard braking zone into the hairpin. He's just about to get that. Just about got it stopped there. Damien Harris, how's Damien getting on? He's made up a few places in 13th. Damien's got good pace, so hopefully they can bring that back. And the cars are really close on the track, so there's a lot of fighting going on. Hopefully he can prosper and benefit through all that.
Samuel's had a moment. He's down to P7.
7, yeah. Samuel crashed apparently, according to the SDK software.
Try and find that as but we'll let the race carry on. We've got Thomas Petty on 3 seconds clear already, so he's kind of getting
the battle
Laguna
for
style.
8.
He's checked out.
Yeah, it's a battle for 8, if you'd say, in the Porsche. That seems to be sort of.
Well, you've got the battle for P2 right here.
P2, I guess. Yeah, you've got you've got 2, 3, and 4 heading out of the last corner. Rafael Silva, and a good race. Gonzaga as well. From last week, we saw Gonzaga. Was Gonzaga in the Audi last week?
No, he was Porsche.
Was he? Okay.
That's a little bit wide for Gonzaga. That's going to give Andre a nice run.
Easy to defend though, isn't it? Into there, if you just cover your line, you can make a mistake. As we see that. Also got
Steven trying to make some moves.
This is the battle for 9th now, whereas Valentina's in 8th. Got away a little bit, you'd say, but still very much hunted down by Paul Jocelyn in 9th position. Fraser Smith in 7th for the TCRs. He started 7th, I believe, and kept his position, although he's gone wide there onto the grass, so he's probably going to give that place up.
Well, that's a Porsche making
Porsche
their way
through on the inside, yeah.
Goodness.
Oh, that could have gone so much worse.
Yeah.
It snapped on him just at the right time to snap away from the TCR car. So Fraser Smith, I think it was, survives. Look behind Fraser's. What's that? 4, 5, 6 cars.
Reinhardt having a look.
Yeah. And when you get braking right in the TCR,
off they go. That is not what we want to see.
And that's Damien Harris gone through there, look, right behind Mateus by the looks of it. If Mateus is in that blue blue TCR, the Audi that he usually is, yeah, there he is. So Mateus is up to... No, Mateus is up 5 positions, apologies.
And Damien is slowly making his way back through the field as well.
So Damien's 10th, isn't he, now? So he's managed to get all the way from the back to 10th, so he's done a good job.
Still a cracking race for the lead. The top 3 in the TCRs all very, very close.
Yeah, so if you look at the track map, the Audis are much closer together than the Porsche, although they've bunched up now into the last corner. Valentinus, yeah, he's 8th position, 11 places. Although Mateus as well, Faraoni in 11th place, also up 11. Loving life.
I think Andre's had a little moment because he's dropped back from the top, or the second battle for the podium places, we can call it.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, no, looking down through the battles in the TCRs are a little bit closer than the Porsches. Obviously, we'll keep an eye out for this.
It's the opposite to what we saw last week, basically.
Yeah.
Where we felt the TCRs had got broken up a bit. Still some good racing on the track, though, as we watch Gonzaga in P3 pushing Rafael Silva, making a challenge for this second spot on the podium. And he's looking confident as well, actually, this Gonzaga. He's having a good race. Started 3rd, is in 3rd. Rafael Silva up 2 positions. What happened to Samuel, by the way? He's still down in 7th. He's down 5 positions. Samuel and his 7,500 iRating. So he's on to lose iRating at the moment. So he needs to. But I did see on the timing thing that he did have a crash. So whether I can't see with the light that we've not got in the sky. It's not giving us the best views of the cars. I don't know if he's got damage. Yeah, it's not much we can do. I saw it not too long ago. This car, from what I can see, looks fine. Not sure about his lap times. The TCRs further back, they're having a great battle.
To Jordan.
Yeah.
So yeah, top 3 all within a second of each other, which could be, let's just keep together, don't make any silly moves to hold us up and back us into sort of a pack of 5, and then battle towards the end. 30-minute race, so fairly short. So they want to sort of make their moves when they know they can make it stick, as opposed to battling and letting the guys behind them catch up. Connor Parise in
6th, isn't he? So he's well, I think he's so far had a clean race. Hasn't been involved in too much. Not that we've commentated on anyway. But running in a solid 6th. Damien Harris is in 9th, and he's all over the back of Mateus still, that we've seen for a couple of laps now.
We've also got Daniel in 11th, trying to get or fighting off Mateus and Juan Ramon Moreno. But really, this is the closest scrap. There's a little gap between Rafael and Luzinho Gonzaga that we know of fighting for the podium. But other than that,
yeah, the Porsche are slowly starting to spread out, aren't they? Despite, well, other than this battle for 11th, but it does look like Daniel moves slightly open the gap there, but trying to close that. Damien's got past Mateus, good for him. He's up into 8th position, so the comeback is on. He's got a long gap now, or a long gap? A big gap.
Yeah.
To Fraser Smith in front of him in 7th position. A third of the race gone, over 10 minutes into this. It's a race that goes by pretty quickly. I know we've seen some great battles already, and let's see what the last 2/3 have in store. But I think, like you said, Tom, just sort of taking it easy and well, not necessarily easy, but biding their time, and it could be that we see it all go down to the last couple of laps, as we've seen before in this series. You often find that these cars are run so well, don't they, close to each other, and it's difficult to get past. It's difficult to get away, but that makes it brilliant to watch.
Seeing if Michael is going to make a move. Had a little look on the inside of Jackson, but no movers yet. Although, saying that, Michael does seem that he's got quite a good run, so we'll hop on board behind the Motem simulation sponsored car.
He did get a better drive out of there, didn't he? But turn 1, difficult to pass there. There is a couple of lines at work as well. Easy to defend into turn 2. You know, you've got to say that the hairpin is the obvious spot.
Yeah, I mean,
to try it,
I've found, yeah, the hairpin, although that can be quite easy to block. So it's more about setting someone up sort of out of Le Mans down the back straight. If you can get them going defensive, it's
get the cut back.
Yeah, it's a track that you kind of have to set the move up. There's not one obvious overtake. It's more about where can I get them out of position to then set them up for a couple of corners down the line. And we've got a great battle behind between Stephen, and that's very wide.
Is he going to hang on to that? It's difficult once you've lost this GT4 with the traction control.
That's not ideal.
No,
and he wants to hurry up before this pack of TCRs come and find him.
Here they come. He's got to wait. Yeah.
So at least I don't think he hit anything, so he should be able to maintain. And the fact that he's I say only 3,000 iRacing, so he's only down to lose 10, so it's not a disaster if he finishes where it is. So
it'll be a quiet 17 minutes as we see. That's the last corner. It's Gonzaga, isn't it?
And Rafael Silva.
We need to have another look at that. They must have been side by side going into there. Oh, were they?
Raphael's in front, and he's gone a little bit deep, and they're gonna.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
And they both came off pretty badly.
So yeah, Raphael went deep. Gonzaga saw the opportunity, but couldn't get it pulled up in time.
Raphael is now down to, where is Raphael?
Ninth.
Ninth, okay. It's not too bad, actually.
Considering, no.
Yeah, so he's down in ninth. And what about Gonzaga? He's managed to keep it in fourth. Okay, wow, so not too bad for him. How is that gap between Damien and Fraser Smith going? What is the gap, in fact? 4 seconds. I think that's come down a bit. I can't remember.
This is Raphael. And yeah, has got round. So just, so I believe
Raphael's now
Joslin
yeah, he's a bit of a cork in the bottle.
There. So Raphael should probably scamper away. Having a look at Daniel. Does he fancy a move anywhere? No, he's being sensible. Trying to set up a nice sort of run through the infield section.
ProSimRacer.com.
And we've got a close gap now for P2 between Andre and Sulio Almeida, and then a 5-second gap back to Luciano Gonzaga. So we'll keep an eye on these guys, checking in with our Evo SR racer, as is our duty on Evo SR TV. Not a lot of change. Fraser Smith lapped 0.03 of a second quicker than Damien on the last lap. So
Damien's not got away from Mateus. I mean, Mateus, we've seen him in a few races. He's not a slow driver.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But we didn't actually see what happened at the very start. We'll have to have a look back at the end of Damien's start. What are we looking at here? We've got Almeida in P3 on board with him, looking at Andre Castro in front, going into turn 1. Patience in this car. He's got a better run, I think, out of there. He can have a look down the inside, but I think Castro's got just enough to defend. Petitjean almost just over 9 seconds ahead. We're seeing a repeat of what he did last week. We need a challenger for Petitjean. Samuel Libert in 6th position was the closest one in qualifying, but he's now down in 6th, unfortunately. Castro leading P3 Almeida into the hairpin there. Back on board with the TCRs heading into turn 1. And this is for the lead that we've seen these guys, Jackson Harlow and Michael Schodletter. These guys have been good. There was 3, I'm going to say there was 3 of them, but Deschamps is still very much in the fight.
Yeah, just behind them. Here he is. Yeah, Damien can't shake Mateus, and Fraser is right on the back, which we'll tune into, right on the back of Connor. So, action all through the field. We're trying to keep up to speed with it and show you all of them. There is a great gaggle of cars now. That's a lot closer than they were, which is good. So the closest in this little train is Elliot behind Sander van der Velle, I'm going to go with. Fighting over 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th.
Do you think the night makes much of a difference overall in terms of the difficulty? I guess you less
at
sort of
this level, no.
No.
I'd say when you're starting out, if you've never done night racing before, then yeah, it does make it harder. However, when you've got pretty much all the field is 3,000 or above, they know the track, they know where their sort of brake marker points are. It can throw you off if you're in combat, but not a great deal. I personally love night driving and night racing. I think it spices it up, just makes it look a bit nicer. But this
Agreed.
is what I mean. Sulio keeping sort of bumper to bumper. I haven't seen the gap go past. Oh, there's been a change for the leading TCRs. No, well, they're battling side by side. Sorry to cut away from that and my little sort of rambling. But I'm always having a look.
I was gonna say Jackson's actually extended the gap out through all of that, and then put Jordan Deschamps all over the back of Michael Chatelet. Probably saying that massively wrong, but it is what it is. That looks wide.
That is wide from Jordan, but that was that kind of sensible, seasoned racing of, I'm not going to battle the guy in P2 because I want to stay close to P1. Like, he easily could have sent it up the inside, but if he does that, that gives sort of Jackson the chance to get away, break the toe, and that's kind of chance of victory over. So, and
it's funny actually. If you look at the gaps now, Michael's closed the gap back to P1, Jackson Harlow, and then Deschamps has slightly dropped back a little bit. That's a huge crash.
Shunt. Let's have a look.
That's just lost it under braking, and oh dear, oh dear.
It just speared. That is a monster crash. That is Elliott.
That's not what you want to see. Too late on the brakes.
Oh my word, nearly.
Is that massive netco? Did he actually clip?
I believe so.
Because on that view, it didn't really look.
It sounded like it.
It certainly sounded like.
We've also had another crash of Jonathan Matthew Brown, but this is him pulling over and having enough of today's racing.
I had no idea Jonathan was racing in this, to be honest. It was up there at the front of the grid for the Brands Hatch race, wasn't it? But we've not seen much of him in terms of towards the front of the grid. He's still obviously a regular in the TCR, but not a race that he's going to want to remember for a long time. He's out of the race. Jonathan Matthew Brown. Andre Castro in P2.
Has there been a change? Yes. Jackson is down to 3rd. I think Jackson got to slow down.
Yeah, that could explain the gap that we're seeing there. The long gap.
Hopping onto cockpit cam. Jordan now, less than 10 minutes to go, so this is now sprint race territory. This is elbows out, so it's about 4, maybe 5 laps, depending when they went over the line. So let's see what you have got, gentlemen. Hopefully they'll keep providing some cracking racing. Flipping back to Fraser Smith.
Yeah, he's actually got it. He's got that gap down, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's closed in. Damien behind is actually getting away from Mateus. So
yeah, sorry, Damien's got the gap down by another second, so it's about 3.5, I think now.
Yeah,
was 4.5.
Oh, that was wide. That was wide from Connor.
That's gonna ruin his drive out of there. And easy to defend if
you.
Yeah, he's obviously going to keep the car on the right-hand side. Fraser will be looking for the better exit, compromised entry, for the car in front.
Oh, Fraser missed the apex. Just slightly. He was all there, and he just went a little bit deep.
This is what Damien needs, though. This is exactly what he needs. Damien, Owen Harris not too far behind these guys, about 3.5 seconds. Fraser on the brakes.
There he is. Damien can see the action ahead.
It's Conor Paris leading the 2 cars in front. Conor Paris and Fraser Smith. And then we've got Damien Harris further behind, and then Mateus that we said is started to get, looks like Damien started to pull away from him a little bit more than we thought. Battle for the lead. He's had a great race, patience, got good speed. He's sat there and he's doing a good job of leading the cars as well, which is sometimes when you do get that P1 position and the pressure's on you and you don't have the other car to use as a braking reference.
I mean, it's turned into a top 4, really. Jan Schwitter is not far away, which is great to see. So hopefully a little bit more battling it can turn into a full 4-way fight. Still the gap between these top 2, the 2nd and 3rd position, I should say. Almost forgetting about Thomas, he's so far ahead. They are still glued together. And so really good defensive work from Andre. No mistakes as of yet. Cue the mistake to happen right now.
Hopefully not.
Just having a look at Fraser again is under 2 tenths behind Conor Paris. There's action all through the field, which is great. It's making it quite tricky to keep up with it all. So apologies if we do miss any action from any of the drivers. Fraser trying to just put him off.
Yeah, I'm going to say we're seeing Conor making a couple of minor mistakes, but enough to have Fraser Smith constantly glued to the back of his car. Damien Harris 2.6 now, so he's slowly, and he's got enough time to close that gap. Another second, and he'll be very much
Damien took,
in
6/10 out of Connor last lap. So
yep.
Great to see. Back to the front. We've got Jordan now having a look, and that's a little kiss.
It was. I was praying that car didn't get turned around. I didn't want this battle to be over like that. I always get disappointed when I see a car going to the back of the other.
No, everyone.
It's, one of those things.
The drivers, the viewers all want a good, clean scrap with maybe a little bit of argy-bargy because that's what makes TCR great.
I think side by side, door to door seems to work pretty well in these cars. I think these guys at this top level will know what this car, can do in terms of that contact. And it's almost like what's acceptable as well. I think anyone that knows TCR, how they race them, you've seen some great, if you follow the BTCC, etc. I was going to say that's a Williams Jim Esports car in front in P2. Jordan Deschamps.
He is 7,000 iRacing, so I imagine...
He is. Keep that spot warm for me, guys. I'll be there soon.
Oh, here we go. That's Jackson having a cheeky nose through.
That's door to door. That's contact. That's proper TCR.
Oh, good aggressive move, I would call it. It might get a flash of the lights for that, but I enjoyed it.
5 minutes to go. It's plenty of time. It's very much a four-way. Yeah, you could call it a four-way, a four-car gap, four-car race. There we go.
I would say. We haven't even mentioned the pole sitter was Scotty McQueen, who's in 5th, doing really, really well to hang on to these guys because, the top 4, just for the viewers to know, they're all over 6,000 iRacing, so you'd expect them to be fairly quick. I'd say Jan of the top 4 has probably got the least amount of pace.
I think he's just sitting there, isn't he, and watching the others battle, but that's bringing him into contention. But like you said, probably doesn't have the natural pace.
No, this is great racing. We've also got Raphael, who's just got past Daniel and has now got his sights set. I think Samuel must be damaged because his pace is nowhere near where it should be.
We've not seen...
After qualifying with a 2:10.3, his best lap all race long is an 11.4.
Yeah, whereas if you look at Petitjean, just gone over the start-finish at 2:10.2.
I think you can see his front end is a little bit banged in on the right front. It's quite tricky to see in this light.
Well, he must have had something, because we did see him drop down, didn't we? How's the gap in the TCRs? Here we go. Checking in with those. Jordan Deschamps still in P3.
He's
still in P3.
Yeah, he's closer to Jackson than Jackson is the leader, so he might look to return the favour here. I reckon it's maybe 2 laps to go, could be 3. I didn't see when Thomas went over the line. Throw it in, and Jackson's making another move.
Yeah, he's having a look down the inside. I was going to say that's if you don't get that car stopped, then someone will be spinning. And fortunately, he saved it, hasn't he?
Now, whereas the last move was great, that's more I've pushed you out the way. In my opinion.
If you don't get it slowed down, there's nowhere to go. The car won't, he just couldn't make the corner, but unfortunately the other car was there.
But good to see that the front wheel drive helped him out, planted his foot, and it kind of kicked it out of it. So he's still in
3rd, yeah, he's slotted in above Jan. Sorry.
So can still make some hay. Just checking in because I feel it's right to give him a little bit of airtime. Is Thomas miles out in front? Can't even see
miles out in front.
Car. 11 seconds back. And I'm also curious. So this will be white flag coming across the line now. So we're going to head back to the closest scrap and probably the best scrap out there.
We're looking at a potential change for the lead. Jordan gets a car turned in. He's got a better exit, you could say, out of that the hairpin, pushing Castro around. Oh, it's not Castro, it's, sorry, Jackson.
Jackson, that's a little bit wide.
Oh, that's allowed. That's like Michael.
Michael's
side by
back
side into the Le Mans section. It's actually quite difficult to go side by side through there. Here we go. Plenty of curb on the inside, door-to-door contact, and that's Michael through into P2. Deschamps is surely going to have a good drive out of there, and I don't think he's going to be wanting to accept third. Not from what we've seen so far. Jan very much on the back of the
silent
gang.
Assassin has finally caught the back. Can he steal anything?
Jan's probably hoping that these guys have that contact and he can potentially get a second place, but that's clean for the last corner. And this is now the final lap, isn't it, for these guys?
Yep, absolutely. Jackson's made a little break for it now, so I think it's the fight for P2.
Fraser Smith did get in front of Conor Paris.
Come on, Gabby, there's good a chance for you.
And so who have we got here? Jordan closing right in on the back of Michael after their great scrap. Is he going to have a look down the inside? Nope.
It's going to be about the run down into the hairpin, surely. Think about the exit out of this one. It's a tighter line, isn't it, for Châtelet? And he's on the grass, so that's not going to do him any favours. So now we've got Deschamps, who's surely going to have a look into the hairpin. Although actually, he didn't get a bad drive out of there, did Michael? P2.
That's late. That's late.
Certainly closed the gap again. not much space between those cars at this point.
They're onto the back of Jackson. I am going though to flick to the front.
Thomas Petitjean take another bow. That's 2 out of 2 on a Wednesday night, 8:15.
There you go, the fireworks.
I can
and then
just hear the fireworks. There we go.
Great
good
race
racing.
there.
Oh, and that's contact. Big contact on that back straight. Wow. Get it slowed down. Make the corner. That is Rafael Silva.
That's with Samuel. That was with in a straight line. Samuel's been shunted back down to P8, I believe it is, maybe. But we're going to flick back to these guys because that was all great racing. But this is what we're really interested in. What's your drive like, Michael? Set him up.
Let's see who's got the most courage to try something into this last corner. Who's going to be a hero? Who's going to lose out? Is the gap too big to try it?
You can see bottom right, the gap is closing. It's now just about 0.2 of a second. Under 0.2 of a second. Send it in there.
It's got the cutback. He's trying the cutback.
He's hit him!
I don't know about that. I don't know about
that.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
Michael's going to win.
Michael gets a win from Jordan Deschamps. Jackson Harlow, despite leading only a few hundred meters before the... oh, here we go. Side by side. I don't think he's happy with that, but... He's going to pull over. He's pulling over next to him. Oh dear. But it still managed to grab 4th place. Could have been worse. If it was any other car, any other series, it's probably gone round and a further few positions down, but they managed to grab 4th.
Checking in. Damien's just come across the line. Chassanet Vincent is miles away. He must have had some problems. Or has finished.
Conor, you there?
Oh, we've got... let me just mute the...
I have a feeling we'll be fairly close in this championship coming up. Yeah, there's a lot of really fast guys in
there. There we go. I really need to remember to do that. That was a good race, Tom. Really good race. We saw both series.
Yep, absolutely. Tried to cover it as best we could. Sadly, the results are not showing, but we can give you a quick rundown. Thomas Petitjean with taking the victory, 2 out of 2 from the Wednesday night. IMSA.
I've lost everything in terms of the overlay.
Yes, I have 2.
Can we? Oh, there we go.
You can bring that.
That's
back.
something.
Andre Castro and Studio Almeida with a great scrap for the podium. Luzinho Gonzaga, what could have been, he went for that, went for the gap and just couldn't get it slowed down, so he hit, who was it, Rafael Silva. Tomas Oviak with a great performance, actually, taking P5, I make that.
Up 18, well, sorry, up iRacing gain of
Yeah.
89. Up
So
4 positions.
brilliant for him. Obviously, the biggest loser there would be Samuel Liebert, down from the front row of the grid, right down actually to maybe P10. And then flicking to the TTRs, we had Michael Schotler with a little bit of a controversial move right at the end. A bump and run. I know. No, Jackson did that similar move to Jordan, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a few moments, didn't we, where we...
So, yeah, but I would say that was a quite controversial way to take the win. But unless iRacing has something to say about it in the record books, that is a win for him. Jordan Deschamps, Jan Schvetter, the silent assassin, does pick up P3. Jackson will feel hard done by. Scotty McQueen, the pole sitter, brought it home P5. Fraser Smith, Conor Brise, Damien Owen Harris Smith of Evo SR brings it home in P8. Matthias Joki in 9. And Chassanet Vincent brought it home in P10. Shall we try and find some of those incidents?
Let's start from the start. I'm interested to see Damien's start, because we had a decent qualifying, but was very much at the back in 16th very early on. So interested to see what happened there. I mean, good for him. He got it back into 8th, so he's gained 6 positions overall, gained some iRating as well. So not a bad race in any respect, but I think could have been potentially challenging further up. But again, still 8th position's not too bad.
Okay, so here we have, as I'm just flicking through, that's not working at all. Maybe
it's
this
the software glitching. Are we not able to see the start of the race? Maybe it's lost from the cache, or whatever you want to call it.
There's some shenanigans going on, but what I'll do, if you just bear with me, viewers, because there is an easier way or kind of more long way of doing this, but I am interested to see it. Is do this. And so that is on. No, it is really not.
It's not
playing
having
ball
it
today.
So we can't see any of the action. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Are we on live? We're not on replay.
Yeah, no. Live. And I'm also clicking through the events.
Interesting. Well, if we're not going to get that, we should start to wrap up. Next week. What track are we at next week? Next week? Next week.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I will have a look myself, actually.
It's Sonoma, I can tell you.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've ever seen that track raced on iRacing. I certainly don't recall racing it myself. No idea.
No, it'll be great. I actually did a few laps in it to get my eye in. I think it'll be really, really good.
Is Sonoma the one where you got left-hander up the hill?
Into the
right at the top of the... Yeah, right. That's a really good track, is that, actually?
And it's the one that the layout is the cup layout where you then turn right sort of down the hill quite early. You have that big looping left-hander.
Yeah.
So then go back up and then you go down through the sweeping S's. Yeah, I think it'll be a really, really good race. Apologies, we can't bring you any replays. We'll have to do a little bit of diagnostic evaluation into that.
Yeah. Well, so same time next week, Sonoma, track that again I've not seen on iRacing. I probably need to buy it. So hopefully you can join us then. If you, as usual, like what you see, first time here, do drop us a subscribe, hit the follow button as well. Other than that, Tom, thanks for joining me as usual. And yeah, see you next week at 8:15 Wednesday evening UK time. 8:15. But yeah, Tom, thanks again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salt.
Ta-ta.